Hello guys, today we are going to create our own booklet that we are going to use to illustrate each of the elements of art. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper. I am using printer paper. It's 8.5 by 11 inches. And I'm going to take the printer paper and I'm going to make sure I turn it in a portrait position so it is tall and vertical. And then I'm going to pick up the paper on the right side and fold it over to the left. Now I'm going to match up the corners. If it helps, pick it up off the table to do that. I'm going to match the corners on the top and the bottom. And once I get those evenly matched, then I just fold down in the middle and go to the right and to the left. Now I've, really done a good job evenly dividing my paper into 2 halves. Okay, from here, I'm going to take the right side of the paper and fold it to that middle fold that I just created. And then now I'm going to do the same thing on the left. I'm going to take the left side of the paper and fold it over to the middle fold. And you can see this is allowing my paper to match up nicely in the middle. Okay. Now I have a booklet. Now the instructions also say that we need to create 7 sections on this paper for the 7 elements of art. So I'm going to take a ruler, and again, I've already told you that my paper is 11 inches long. So what I'm going to do is, for me, I think a good way to divide things evenly is to do 1.5 inches for each section. So I'm going to take my pencil. I've got it lined up nicely and evenly on the side here. So I'm gonna just make a little mark at 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 4.5, 6, 7.5, and 9, and then again at 10.5. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I have just a little bit of extra that I can trim off. Now I'm going to take my paper, turn it back into a vertical position, and then I'm just going to start marking. And I'm not worried about anything being absolutely perfect. I mean, it's okay. No one's going to spot check you on this, but just a way to divide your paper up. If you really want to make sure your lines are straight, you can always, do that by lining up the edge of the ruler to the edge of the paper. I'm just going to mark it as I go down. Okay, almost done. Now, each of these sections will be one of the different elements of art. And then here, I'm just trimming off a little section on the end. A little bit of extra. Now, depending on the size of paper you use, your measurements may need to be different than mine. Now, I'm going to take my scissors and trim off that extra piece first. There we go. And now I am going to cut each of these sections with a pair of smaller scissors. And I will just do that by hand. I like the smaller scissors because they give me more control. Okay, and I'll just go all the way down and I'll cut those little strips. And then when I'm finished cutting those strips, I can take my eraser. As I always tell my art students, when you're drawing with a pencil, always draw light. Don't apply a lot of pressure so that you are able to erase. And now you can see how nice and clean that looks. Okay, so you'll do that all the way down and then you will have your completed booklet. All right, friends, I'm gonna go ahead and finish cutting this part, and I will just do a little time lapse later so that you don't have to watch this in slow motion. You can do one side all at one time and then flip it over. All right,